An African proverb goes thus: an avaricious man is always in want. This was the situation with Sikemi, a very beautiful, overambitious, self-centered and entitled young lady. Sikemi is betrothed to Mofe, the lovable and most famous carpenter in the whole of Ajeromi village. The two have been betrothed to one another right from childhood, and they were made to understand this as teenagers. Perhaps it was her beauty, perhaps it was long-term friendship, perhaps it was both that made Mofe so in love with her. No doubt, Sikemi was very beautiful. Her shiny brown skin, her long raven-colored hair, her hourglass figure and her succulent full lips made half of the ladies in Ajeromi village wild with both envy and admiration. Many young men desired her, but their respect for Mofe made them reluctant to woo her. It wasn't hard for anyone to respect Mofe. He was kind-hearted, selfless, hardworking, and very responsible. He was the kind of person who would starve just so others can eat. After losing both parents to a tragic boat accident, Mofe had learned to man up and take responsibility for his 5 younger siblings. He had to quit school at the age of 14 and became an apprentice to Baba Bonka, an older carpenter, just so his siblings can feed and go to school. In a few years, he already became an expert in making old chairs, tables, shelves, and stools. Due to his diligence and good behavior, Baba Bonka gave him half of the money he needed when he wanted to start up his own carpentry workshop. Mofe's reputation seemed to cover up Sikemi's visible flaws, and most people saw them as the ideal couple. Mofe himself was blind to her flaws and never did or said anything to correct her. He was just bent on seeing her happy and satisfied. When Sikemi's best friend Jadisola gained admission into one of the prominent universities in the cities, Sikemi began to feel discontent with her life in Ajeromi. Sure, Ajeromi had some nice colleges and institutions too, but Sikemi wasn't ready to be seen as a failure or a backward individual who has never been to the city before. Besides, if Jadisola can go to the city, why can't she? The whole eye candy of Ajeromi. Sikemi began to let her parents know of her intentions to also go to the big city. Her parents gave her a disappointing reply. They reminded her that unlike them, Jadisola's parents are quite wealthy and she was an only child, so they could afford to give her a comfortable life. Sikemi, however, wasn't ready to listen to the voice of reasoning. She threw tantrums and carried a long face all day every day, nagging at her younger ones over every little thing. One day, Mofe noticed her mood when he came over to have dinner with the family. "What troubles you, my love? You've been carrying a long face all day," Mofe asked Sikemi. "Don't mind her, Ojare. She has gained admission into one of the best institutions here in Ajeromi, but she has refused to go. She insists on attending the same university as her friend, as if she doesn't know that we can't afford such," Sikemi's father replied. "We have told her, oh. We've told her she either attends the higher institution here or forget about school," her mother concluded. Seeing how displeased and unhappy Sikemi looked, Mofe took it upon himself to make her dreams come true. He went to the city, made inquiries about the university, and made sure he paid for her entrance exam. He broke the news to Sikemi and pleaded with her to do all it is within her power to do well in the entrance exam, promising to pay her school fees if she passes. Being academically smart, Sikemi knew passing wouldn't be a problem. She passed in flying colors. Mofe was extremely proud of her, and just as he had promised her, he paid her school fees. Sikemi was overwhelmed with joy, and her parents were extremely grateful to Mofe. Sikemi promised her unwavering love and commitment will always be for Mofe. Sikemi wasted no time in moving into campus. Her best friend Jadisola was more than willing to accommodate her at her lodge. She was really excited to have a friend with her in the city. Even at the university, Sikemi remained an eye candy. Heads always turned whenever she passes by. Hearts always almost stops whenever she walks into a room. Every guy seemed to have their eyes on her, But Shikemi's heart was set on the love of her life, Mufe, and didn't take notice of any other guy. Well, that was until she met Tony. Tony was a 300 level student of chemical engineering. He was also the perfect description of every city girl's ideal man. Tall, dark, and handsome, with a charming smile. He always rode in different flashy cars, wore expensive clothes and accessories. Like most girls on campus, Shikemi was smitten at first sight of him. Tony also found Shikemi breathtaking and couldn't resist her. Shikemi at first turned down Tony, but his lavish and extravagant lifestyle was something she craved to be part of so bad. Unable to resist his charm and wealth, Shikemi embarked on an affair with Tony, a secret one. She did all she could to hide this so well from Jadesola and also from Mufe, who always made it a duty to send her money on a weekly basis. Although she preferred Tony, who was now giving her the material things she felt Mufe could never afford in 100 years, she couldn't bring herself to end things with Mufe. Her parents would be so mad at her. Moreover, it felt so good having the love and attention of two different men who are likely to never cross paths. Shikemi's effort to hide her relationship with Tony didn't prevail for long, as Tony was one to always show off, especially with women. Soon, everyone within and outside the campus got to know of Tony and his new conquest. Jadesola also found out and was utterly disappointed in Shikemi. She knew just how far Shikemi and Mufe had come. She knew of all Mufe had done for Shikemi and her family, and all because he loved her. The thought that Shikemi could betray Mufe like this hurt her terribly. Being a good friend, she couldn't bring herself to tell Mufe or anyone in Ajeromi of Shikemi's betrayal. She instead pleaded with Shikemi to end things with Tony. She warned that Tony is not genuinely in love with her and that he sees her as his latest conquest and will no time discard of her like an old tissue once he sees a new victim. Jadesola's pleas fell on deaf ears. Shikemi continued seeing Tony and even became bolder about it. She wasted no time in flaunting some of the new clothes, shoes, phones and jewelries in Jadesola's face. This resulted in so many disagreements and quarrels between Shikemi and Jadesola. The once jolly good friends couldn't stand each other anymore, and this prompted Shikemi to move in with Tony. Jadesola threatened to tell Mufe of her infidelities, but Shikemi called her bluff. She knew her friend very well and was assured that she would do no such thing. Jadesola then had a heart of gold, and the last thing she would do was to be a bearer of heartbreaking news. Shikemi continued her double dating. She spent most of the semester gallivanting all over the city with Tony, paying less attention to her studies. Why study when you can just settle lecturers with money, she always says to herself. During the semester break, she spent less time with Mufe as time went on. She preferred her lavish lifestyle with Tony. Whenever Mufe or her parents inquire of her next visit home, she comes up with one excuse or the other. She even made up an excuse of being an apprentice to a fashion designer, and the best time for her to concentrate on the craft was during semester break. One break before her final year in the university, Shikemi's father called her. His tone sounded serious and unfriendly.